Well, after what seems like forever, a lot of tweaking and adjusting, I finally got the gaps where I want them. Obviously they're not perfect, but I just don't think I can get it any closer. The main thing is this front gap. I'm pretty happy with it. And the side gap is really good down here where I don't really need to mess with it. Up here where I go to rebuild the corner, I'm going to have to shave this back a little bit, which is fine because that'll all fit into that one repair. Over here on the driver's side, again, I'm pretty happy right here, which was, I felt, a really important part to get lined up. It's all good. And then you get up into this spot where I actually had to shave it back a while ago to get it to even fit on here. And it's good. The gap is really close, so I'll just have to do some repairs up through there. And as far as the height of the hood goes, flush with the fender, I mean, it's pretty good. It's a little low, probably from here to right about here. It's got some low in the hood, and this lined up just right. So just an old hood, so I can build this up, no problem. That should be easy. The other side over there, this spot is a little high in the arch. On both sides I tried like crazy to get everything perfect, and it's just not happening. I don't want to mess with my fenders because my door gaps are just right. And the other spot that I had issues with was this wing. It's low, but it's okay because that's where I'm going to be making the repair on the tip, and I can just kind of move that repair down through where I've adjusted the gap and fixed the gap and just kind of clean up that whole edge. So should turn out okay, I hope. Getting ready to glue on this big piece right here. So here's the tip for the driver's side. Prepping this, getting ready to glue it on. I had a crack. Actually, this crack goes all the way through. You can pick that up there. But what I did was just ground out that crack on the bottom side, and I'll put some epoxy glue in that to hold it together. Glue this whole surface on, and then once I work on this front, I'll grind this out on the top side and fill that in with fiberglass. So here's the setup. We'll get some epoxy glue on there and glue up the surfaces. Slide that in there, glue it down nice and tight, and I have this piece to go in as well. And then once it's all glued, I think what I'm going to do is come in and just kind of grind out these cracks and this one that I mentioned previous, and then the fiberglass repair will cover that whole part. I'll probably sand this down through here a little lower than what it should be, just so that that fiberglass matting will bond all the way across. And then where this corner, the edge, needed ground down, we'll probably do some fiberglassing, maybe some cloth to wrap around and kind of seal up these two panels. See how you got lower panel structure and top panel. Where I ground it down to get the gap right, it exposed the seam between those two. So I feel like it'd probably be okay, but we'll see how it goes. I may end up, wrapping some fiberglass around that. Well, while that epoxy's drying on the driver's side tip, I'm gonna go ahead and work the passenger side gap here. And what I'm going to do is use my cutoff wheel, try to bring that gap back to where I need it, and then if needed I'll take my die grinder with an 80 grit disc on it and go ahead and clean all that up. So let's get this gap nice and straight, and probably take it back a little bit further than I need to so that I can clean up that edge where the two layers come apart. So let's get to work. So where this was a little arced up high, I just sanded it down. Got it pretty close. Got some lows up here I'm gonna build up, and then I block sanded out the top part. So I got these little spider web cracks. Kind of bother me, and I don't really know what to do about them. Do I need to sand them all the way out? I mean, in places like this, where I sanded them down pretty good, and I can't really tell. I think that's just discoloration from the crack, and I don't really think the crack is in the fiberglass. And here's another spot right here, and I kind of ground through it and it disappears pretty quick, so I think it's just discoloration. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. If you worked fiberglass before, do you have to take all these cracks out that are in the paint on the top, or can I basically just sand this thing down until it's all smooth, touch up my little nips and nicks and stuff with some filler, maybe even some regular fiberglass or fiberglass filler, and then prime it and block it? Or do I really gotta sand all these cracks all the way out? Because it's just taking time, and I know that's part of the game here, but I'm just not sure what to do. Well, I think I'm figuring out that this thing is going to be a lot of work. We're going to get to work here and keep on sanding this down. See what we got. So I'm just going to keep plugging away at it. Just takes work, especially now that I got my head right on it. I feel pretty good. It's like hide and seek. Them scratches are hiding, so I got to seek them out, and once I find them, I follow them. I went across and I leveled everything up the best I could with the DA, and I think my next step is going to be to put a coat of fiberglass body filler over top of all the areas that I chased those scratches. And I also think, in order to keep my sanity, I seem to do better if I just take on a little bit at a time and focus in. So I think what I'm going to do is just work this half of the hood first with that process and even fix that corner maybe and see how all that works out. And actually I'm kind of enjoying the process now, whereas earlier today I was pretty frustrated. I got it DA'd down to where, you know, all these white spots, there's quite a transition to the paint, which is fine because I'm going to spread fiberglass filler in all of these white spots. It's just what I'm going to do. It's going to be a lot of work, but that's how it goes. I found one actual stress crack right there, which makes sense from people probably grabbing the vent to raise the hood, so I ground that down, got rid of the crack, and I'll fill that in with actual fiberglass. And the other spots, of course, I'm going to work this whole corner with actual fiberglass along with raising this edge. But then I also found right here is an actual crack that I'll grind out and fill with real fiberglass. I've got a couple cracks in my vent fins that will need to be ground out and filled with fiberglass, and then this one here is an actual crack that I think I'm going to grind out and fill with actual fiberglass. So that's the scoop. I do believe I am done for the night. Gonna clean up, call it good. So we'll catch you on the next one.